Did lovers really fall in love to stay and stand beside each other, come what may? Was a promise really something people kept, not just something they would say?
Did families really bow their heads to pray? Did daddies really never go away? Whoa, Grandpa, tell me about the good old days.
Oh, Grandpa, tell me about the good old days.
Can I get a close-up of Noelle, my first great-grandchild? I want you to smile big. Smile. Mouth open.
Show that teeth.
Come on, smile. Mouth open. There. She and her mommy sang that song about Grandpa, tell me about the good old days. So here we are about the good old days. When I was a little boy, my daddy would tell me this story, and it's my all-time favorite story. And over many, many years, I have told this story to thousands of boys and girls, and it's a true story. It's a true story. Now, just to let you know what it's about, I'll tell you the story first, okay? And then I want you to hear from my Aunt Myrtle. Now, she was a very old lady at that time. You know, if she was living today, she'd be about 120 years old. And but here's the story. When my daddy was 2 years old, he had an older brother, Charlie, who was 4 years old. And my Aunt Myrtle was about 10 years old, something like that. So she knew the story was true. And I checked it out with her, and she told the story too. So here it is. One day, my grandma and grandpa were looking out through the window towards the horse stable on the barn where the horses were kept. And she saw Charlie, 4 years old. Anybody here is 4? Miles? Miles is 4. How old are you?
5.
5. And
7.
oh, 7, that's right. Okay, so she saw 4-year-old Charlie come crawling out along in the grass between the horse stable and the house. And she thought, oh, Charlie's been kicked by a horse and he's hurt. And she went running out. And they had great big long skirts in those days. And Grandma picked up her skirts and she kind of ran like this, you know, out to get Charlie. And she got out and she found he was all wet and he was so cold that his teeth were chattering. Were you ever that cold?
Like this.
Have you ever had your teeth chatter like, oh, Miles, show me what that's like. Can you hear him? Oh, okay, Miles, that's it. Show me again. Come on over here and do it. That's better than me trying to do it. But I normally do that when I tell them, turn around that way. Now do the teeth chattering thing. Okay, go sit down. Okay, now here's the rest of the story. So she said, Charlie, where have you been? And Charlie couldn't talk. His lips were all blue from the cold. And he tried to talk. And he tried to talk. And his teeth were chattering. And he... So finally, there was a doctor lived not far away. So my grandpa went and got the doctor. And by the time the doctor got back, they had Charlie all wrapped in blankets. He was warming up. And they said, what happened, Charlie? He said, I fell in the well. I fell in the well. Grandpa said, that's a long distance down to the water. And there's at least 5 feet of water in the bottom of that well. Charlie, how did you get out? How did you get out? He said, well, I knew I was going to drown. I was going to die. And I just prayed and I said, oh God, would you get me out of here, please? And he said, I never saw anybody, but I felt somebody pick me up and put me out on the top of the ground at the well, where I began to crawl across. Well, the doctor said, well, I can't believe that. I want to see that well. So we went out and only Charlie's footprints around. And the board that was across the top had broken. Looked down, he said, Uncle Charlie's little hat was down on the water, and he could see the sides of the well where Charlie had tried to climb up and pulled the moss off. He asked the neighbors. Nobody knew anything about it. It must have been an angel that took Charlie out of the well. Now here, I want you to listen to my Aunt Myrtle. And here's what she had to say back in '81 during a TV show we did in Kingston, Ontario. Do you remember the time when Uncle Charlie fell in the well?
Oh, yes.
He was 4 years old. How much older are you than Uncle Charlie?
Well, I'm 5 years older than he is.
So you would have been 9 when he
Yes.
fell in the well.
Yes.
And did they ever find out, was there anybody around there that got him out of the well? I mean, any
no.
human?
Oh, no, he
How
was
did he get
alone.
out of the well?
Well, he said, I just prayed the Lord to come and take me out, and he come and got me and took me out.
Now, those are the stories of my childhood. Ladies and gentlemen, my Aunt Myrtle, whose name is Mrs. Kenny, of course. God bless you, Aunt Myrtle, and thank you very, very much. All right. Now, this chair that I'm sitting in was her mommy's chair. Would you like to rock in it? Your great-great-great-grandmother's chair. Okay, there you go. Okay, you can rock in it. Come on, Noelle. In fact, move over, share it with Aaliyah. Move over. Aaliyah, get in there, too. Get in there. Okay, rocky, rocky, rocky. I got so many stories. Thanks for putting up with an old great-grandpa. This is the last one of our Grandpa Tell Me About the Good Old Days shows. God bless. In a moment, we'll be back in the square.